Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, friends, and welcome to Friends Forum with John show. My name is John McCormick, and I am your host. Just as the talk show suggests, this is an informal forum for friends to come together and discuss topics and or share random thoughts. Although I will suggest topics at times, everyone is welcome to suggest a topic as well. Most topics are welcome, but remember, we are on the air, so please keep that in mind. The show tonight will be in a few segments. I look forward to the discussions. I created this show so friends that may never get a chance to meet in person can at least talk to each other here. It's like the next best thing. We can put a voice with a face. I just want to say how grateful I am for all my friends I have met online through Facebook and other social networking sites, and I want to thank each one of you for being a friend. Well, now it's time to start the show. You have two options. You can choose to just listen to the show, or you can also call in to join the live group discussion on the air. If you call in, you will hear the show from your phone. The listener dial-in number is 323-642-1125. That's 323-642-1125. So please call now to be connected. Thank you in advance for listening to the show, and to anyone that may call in. Again, please call in now. I'm so excited about tonight's show. We have some special guests lined up. Nashville country music recording artist Raquel Renner, author Don Thomas, author Dorothy Robey, and Kelly has an important topic to discuss. Kelly, I believe that you're online right now. Welcome to the show. Hi, Kelly. Oh, wait a second. She's not on just yet. While we get her on the show, because I think she was working and she was kind of late calling in because of that. So what we'll do is I'll play a song to welcome my friends, and then we'll be right back. It's a theme song, and here it is.
Your job's a joke, you broke, your love might be away. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But I
Okay, I believe we have Kelly on the line now. Hi, Kelly.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, welcome. I'm glad you called in. I know you were working, and so we appreciate you taking the time. Well,
You're
I understand that you have an important topic to discuss with us tonight. It's about how the prison system is broken in many ways in some parts of the country. Is that right?
Yeah, the southern prisons.
Okay.
The inmates down there, they have, they're supposed to be able to get like health care and stuff like that, which every day they're denied, and they keep on putting in, like requests to go see the doctor, whatever, and and they keep getting denied that, and there has been, guys in there that has died because they're not getting the health care that, that as taxpayers are pretty much paying for.
Right, exactly.
And then the food. And why I bring this up is because I know a person right now that is incarcerated.
Right.
And I'm in contact with that person, pretty much every day. And this person has said that, that they are eating off of molded trays, and the food is like, it's worse than dog food.
Oh, boy.
And, the prison system gets so much money to, like, feed these people, and everything, and the health care and stuff like that. Well, it's not going to that. As taxpayers, our money is not going to that. So,
well, I know there are a lot of freedoms, one gives up when incarcerated, but there are still basic needs that should be expected, such as decent food, cleanliness of the prison, medical attention when needed, and simple things, too, like toiletries, such as soap and toilet paper. I understand you said that there's sometimes special attention given to certain ethnic groups over other ones. Can you be more specific as to how do they get special treatment?
Well, you mentioned, how can I put this? Okay, I'm just gonna say it.
Well,
a white guy can go up. They have to get their toiletries, through the correction officers, and so a white guy can go up to the correction officer office and say, I need, toilet paper or toothpaste or something like that. They're denied. Now, another person, they can go up there and they will get that. They will get what that other man has, asked for.
Right.
So
right.
it's just,
isn't it also true that that the inmates have died, because of certain cruelty? We can just say cruelty of the correction officers.
well, yeah. There's shoot, I can't remember his name, but I'll give you the facility. This man they boiled in a shower, and the COs, the correction officers, are the only ones that had the control over the temperature of the water. So this was in the mental department, and the man had dementia.
Oh, okay.
They took this man, and they put him in the shower, which had a lock on the outside of the door, and they turned only the hot water on. After a few minutes, of the hot water being on, it started steaming in there. Well, the man collapsed, and he fell. When he fell over the drain. And the water, with him, being over the drain, it pretty much, you know, the article says it boiled him, and you can even see like pictures and stuff of his skin, you know, melted off.
Oh boy. Well, what do you think can be done? I mean, what should someone do, or a group of people should do to change this?
Well,
I mean, should they contact anyone in particular that you know?
I've tried to contact like the department now the trays, the issue the molded trays. I did contact the health department there for, you know, the prison system. And they did write an email to the warden at the specific, you know, facility, and that issue was, you know, cleared up.
Okay.
So,
all right. Okay. Well, I really, you know, want to thank you, you know, for calling in. I know that you're working, and like I said, and you're busy tonight. So, you know, if you do have time, you should just stick around. You know, we've got a really good show for tonight, and it should be a lot of fun. So I just want to thank you again for calling in. And please, when you get any updates on maybe, you know, any information on how we can, you know, contact somebody else and try to change the system, because it is definitely broken. And thanks for bringing it to our attention. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And I would like, you know, to be their voice. You know what I mean?
Sure,
but for me to be their voice, you know, for me to be their voice, I need other people behind me. It's just not going to be.
Right.
So.
No, you're right. You're right. And more people, and the more people that can speak up and talk about it, hopefully there'll be more attention to it, and then things can change. So thank you so much again for calling in, and like I said, just feel free to call back again anytime. Okay, and have a great night.
All righty, you too.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, our next guest is going to be Raquel Renner. She's going to be joining us here very shortly. And before she joins us, what I'd like to do is play one of her songs. It's called Be the Party. It's a great, fun, and very catchy tune, and it has a great video on YouTube also. So I'm going to play that now, and then we'll connect with Raquel. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty tonight. Let me just try this again. There we go.
Called you up 'cause I wanna go out and I think that we should meet. There's a full moon rising, people everywhere, and a party down on the beach. There's fireworks jumping in the bases, jumping in the liquor is flowing right. But looking all around at the faces down in their cell phones, that ain't right. The party. If you're gonna watch the party, you might as well stay home. If you're gonna be the party, then shake your body. We got everybody dancing till the break of dawn. So don't watch the party, be the party. If you're gonna watch the party, you might as well stay home. But if you're gonna be the party, then shake your body. 'Cause we got everybody dancing till the break of dawn. Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na-na-na. Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na-na-na. Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na-na-na. Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na-na-na.
Okay, and we're back. Wasn't that a great song, everyone? And I'm really excited about my next guest. She's a Nashville country music recording artist, Raquel Renner. She's on the line with us right now, and I want to say welcome, Raquel.
Thank you, John. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. It's so good to talk to you. We've been friends for a long time and haven't had a chance to talk, in person. So I hope to meet you someday, too.
That is very true. It's so good to hear your voice.
Well, before we get started, I just wanted to say, you and I, we met back in 2007 on YouTube, actually. Yeah, you had written a song. You had written a song for a songwriting contest, and I did too, and we both entered it, and then I got to see you perform it, and I said, wow, this is really fabulous, and I contacted you and told you how fabulous I thought you were in your song, and now here we are 12 years later. Hey,
I know, crazy.
Well, now, why don't we chat a little bit about your work and your career? I do understand you spent most of your childhood in southern Florida, where you grew up on a farm.
That is very true. My mother was an equestrian world champion, and we raised and bred quarter horses and thoroughbreds. I grew up definitely in the farm life, and we had chickens and all that good stuff. It was quite interesting. So I truly am a country girl.
Now, I know you also, though, when you were a country girl, you kind of wanted to be a city girl, too, right?
Yeah, I was trying like heck to be more of the city girl and to kind of bust that whole, country girl lifestyle stereotype. But, I really am a country girl at heart. I mean, I left and I moved to the city, and I ended up just returning to my roots with country music, and really that's where my heart is completely. So
right. And
that.
country music has been country music has been in your blood since you were very small.
Yeah, it absolutely has. I mean, when I was a small child, I grew up around music. My uncle was part of the Beach Boys. So he was a touring musician with the Beach Boys for 30 years. And I grew up in a house that was just very lively and always filled with music. My dad was always listening to Hank Williams Sr., and, he listened to Merle Haggard and all the greats. And I grew up around that, and it just kind of got ingrained in me. And even though, like I said, I tried to kind of pull away from it, and I did a little stint, singing jazz standards in restaurants. I did musical theater, and I did a lot of pop and R&B, and I ended up, becoming a country music recording artist.
Well, that's awesome. That's great. And you mentioned about, that you did do some like local theater productions and also ballet, right, where you're classically trained.
Yes, I was classically trained in the ballet from the time I was a little girl. My mother was also classically trained as a ballerina, so I followed in her footsteps. But, eventually I migrated more towards music. That was also in my roots. So I became a Nashville recording artist, and here I am, today. I live in South Florida, but I lived in Nashville for some time, and interesting life.
Well, I do know that it wasn't until 2010 when you returned to your country roots, when you released your first country original song, Cry, along with the music
yes,
video.
Remember that?
Yes, I do. I do remember that, and it was a great video, and also that you filmed, and the song is great
Thank
too.
you.
Now I know that you, I understand that you write lyrics sometimes based on real life experiences, and I believe that "Cry" was one of them. Is that correct?
Yeah, unfortunately at that time I was in a very abusive relationship, and I can actually say that out loud now after years of sort of trying to hide that. Because from the outside, the picture looked beautiful, but what was going on inside that big, beautiful house was nothing short of terror at times. And I spent most of my, my time during that situation being very unhappy. And so that song was definitely, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. I wrote it while I was in that situation, and eventually it propelled me to get out of that situation. And that video and that song got me, several record deal offers, and I ended up moving to Nashville because of that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I know you wrote
Silver
another
lining.
song called Yeah, see? Yeah. And I know you wrote another song called Nothing Changes. That sounded like that might be some personal experience too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely based on personal experiences as well.
Oh, okay. Now, I also understand that this was your first attempt at writing and producing. Tell us a little bit about that process.
So that was with Cry. I didn't actually write Nothing Changes. It was an original song that I recorded, and I felt like it was my song and my anthem because it talks about exactly what it says, nothing changes if nothing changes. But Cry was my original song, words, and music, and I was a novice at that time. I really hadn't had much, training in songwriting. So, if you listen to that and then you listen to my music now, even though that's a very pretty song, you can see how my music has completely evolved because I've taken songwriting classes. I've taken part in songwriting workshops in Nashville when I lived there, and I used to do a lot of open mic nights and writing sessions with other artists, published and non-published. So I've come a long way since then. But yeah, that was really my first attempt at it. So, it's not my best work, but I'm still really proud of it. And that video kicks butt.
It does. It really does. All of your videos are kick butt. They're all great.
Oh, thanks, John.
And even the song that I
You're
played,
biased,
Be the Part.
John, you're biased.
Well, but now your song Be the Party, that also has a great video too, a fun video.
Yeah, and there's a great story behind that song. My father, who is 79 years old, and he has always been quite the comedian. We were all, meaning my siblings and I, and my mother at the time when she was still with us. We were all sitting around at my dad's house, and we all had our faces in our cell phones, and we were supposed to be, celebrating. I think maybe it was his birthday, and we had our faces in our cell phones, and he's like, what's going on here? And I'm like, none of us even looked up from our phones, and I finally said, what, Daddy, what? And he goes, don't watch the party, be the party. So I was like, that's it. I mean, so that night I couldn't sleep. I got up and I wrote, so I sat down at my piano and I wrote the entire song from start to finish. And it went through a few changes. It wasn't a co-write, but I did have some input from my producer on a couple of the lines. And so, we took it from good to, really good. And I went to Nashville and recorded it at Dark Horse Recording Studios. And we did the music video, and it just, as soon as we launched it, it went kind of nuts, and it ended up getting quite a few views. So it's just a fun song, It
is.
About living life, living in the moment.
Well, now I know due to your success with your 2013 release of It Ain't a Party Till Something Gets Broken, which, by the way, landed at number 16 on the National Power Source Country Music Chart. Congratulations.
It did.
And then because of that's
so
when you
fun.
moved to Nashville, isn't it?
That happened. I recorded that in Nashville. Cry, the Cry video and the Cry song is actually what got me noticed. A producer in Nashville noticed me, and he invited me to come and record in his studio. And I was subsequently offered a record deal and then another record deal. And, I was performing at that time all over the place, and so my name was kind of getting out. And we recorded, we went through, a database of songs, and this song was originally written. The intent was to give it to Gretchen Wilson, and we bought it instead, and I ended up recording it. I did not write it, but I am the only performer of it. And it ended up going to number 16 on the on the Nashville Power Source country music charts. So that was really fun. And
congratulations again on that. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
And then and that's when you went to Nashville after that. And then now, let me ask you, do you perform both in Nashville and also in Florida too?
I do. I perform a couple times a year in Nashville. I've worked with so many of the bands and so much of the talent there that, it just seems like so many people there are my great friends, and they're all musicians. So pretty much any time I feel like doing, an open mic night, I still go to songwriting workshops, and I do all of my writing in Nashville. Anything that I'm going to do recording-wise, writing-wise is always done in Nashville just because that's the market that I'm used to. I have great contacts there. But, I perform all over, actually, but predominantly in Nashville and in South Florida.
Well, like I mentioned before, I can't wait to see you in person perform. I'm really looking forward to it. So whenever I'm in Florida or Nashville,
too.
I'm going to definitely check it out. Now, where can someone find out where you are performing? Do you have it on your website or?
Sure. They can go to my event calendar on my Facebook page, and it's just Facebook, and then it's Raquel Renner, spelled RAQUELRENNER. And they can go. I have two pages. One of them is my friend page. The other one is my music page, and the photo is me holding a microphone. But you can go there and click on the event schedule and see where I'm playing. And I'm adding more shows to that even as we speak because I just got booked for a couple more. And I don't just play in Florida and Nashville. I have played at various different places all over, the United States. So it just depends. If you want me to come and perform, I can do that.
Okay, please.
We'll come and play.
Okay, well, we have a lot of places to play here in San Francisco.
I know. I would love it, Don. And the perk is I get to spend some time with you.
See, that would be the best thing of all. Now, I know that in 2018 you recorded 3 new songs, which include the song I Play Tonight, and then you also recorded Don't Tell Me You Miss Me and Nashville Nights. Is that right?
Yes. Well, Nashville Nights, I was getting ready to go to Nashville to record it. With my producer, Billy Smiley, at the Sound Kitchen, which is in Franklin, Tennessee. And unfortunately, my mother passed away kind of suddenly. So, it's been a rough year, but, from that has come a lot of inspiration and just a lot of strength and a whole lot of new songs. So Nashville Nights is a song that was the last song that I played for my mother, and she absolutely loved it. And the last thing that she said to me, in the months before she passed was, go and record that song because to me that is your best song. So, and it's about my experiences in Nashville, and it's about falling in love in Nashville and just how I fell in love with the city of Nashville as well. So, I'm looking to go back and record that. I'm going to I have a friend named Laura Swarovsko who is going to contribute to a co-write on it. Even though it's done, to me, it's not ever done until you get a second and third and fourth opinion. So that's the co-write. So I'm going to go and have her weigh in on it. We're going to tweak it, and then I'm going to record it while I'm there. So that's coming up this fall. So I'll let everybody know via post on my Facebook page. You can also find me on Instagram at Raquel Renner Music. And I'm also on Instagram is a great way to find me and communicate with me. It's probably even easier and better than my Facebook page. But my event schedule is up on my Facebook page, so that's where you can see everything I'm doing.
Well, that's awesome. And I did want to also mention that you don't just sing country songs. I mean, you put out an album, Wait for Me, which was a jazz album, correct?
Yeah, that's what I originally started doing because, you know, with my theater background and everything and being classically trained in the dance and everything, I have a love for all styles of music. And, you know, when I was little, I used to spend a lot of time at my grandparents' house, and they listened to big band. I mean, they listened to Benny Goodman, and they listened to all that, you know, that old great big band stuff, as well as a lot of jazz standards. They loved Nina Simone and Etta James. So I made a point to kind of learn all of that stuff, and I ended up, one of my first gigs when I was like 18 years old was singing in a swanky restaurant with a piano player and a classical guitar player, and I did all the jazz standards. So eventually, you know, there was a demand for me to record a CD, and I actually did a 10-song. People don't even do this anymore. I did a 10-song CD, John. Can you believe that? And it was absolutely beautiful. It is called Wait for Me. The only place you can find it really now is on Amazon, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, I know. I wanted to mention I personally bought all your albums and singles on iTunes. That's where I buy them, and I have I just love them all, you know. And
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on just a second. Oh, there we go. I was having a little bit of technical difficulty, but it came back. Okay, so we're fine.
Okay, no worries. We got it.
Yeah. Well, now, I did want to say I do understand that you are well known for your lively performances and cracking jokes with your audience. Sounds like you have a lot of fun.
I am always cracking these really corny jokes, and I don't really know if I'm funny, but I think the fact that I'm just laughing my butt off at myself on stage, I think people find that aspect funny. So, yeah, it always ends up just being a riot, and it's, you know, part kind of stand-up comedy and part, you know, me thinking I'm funny, and then, you know, really good music at the end of it. So hopefully what I lack in my comedic ability, I make up for in my vocal talent.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds wonderful. Yeah. Well, I know, you know, I read where you said that you think your audiences like you because you are well-rounded and fun, like you mentioned, fun, and truly do have that Southern charm, which I can see that.
Thank you. I try. You know, I just basically, you know, at the end of the day, we all just have to be just authentic with who we really are. And if you really put that authenticity out there, I don't care if you're somebody's style or not. They're going to like you, and they're going to see that. And the thing for me is if they don't like me, I don't really care. I don't. I really don't. Because I'm not really necessarily, I mean, everything that I do, it's a gift from God, in my opinion. And I was given it to share it with everybody. And I really enjoy doing it. And I know for a fact that comes through when I'm on stage. So, you know, that's really all I can hope for. And, you know, I got a little bit of notoriety by putting myself out there. And, you know, I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. So, yeah, I would say just the authenticity if you're a performer, in any kind of entertainment aspect, but really in any area of a facet of life, be you. Just be real, be authentic, and be proud of that.
Well, you know, that's what I was going to ask. That's what I was going to ask you next was what would you say to someone who's aspiring, you know, to be a country music recording artist? And you said just be yourself. Is that one of the things?
Yeah, definitely be yourself, but also, you know, put a unique spin on whatever it is you're doing. Don't look at other artists. Don't look at Kelsey Ballerini and Maren Morris and Carrie Underwood and say, oh, I'm going to mold myself after her. Don't do that. There's only one you, and that is your power. So don't look to the right or left except for to get, you know, ideas of how to be better. And that's always great to, you know, extract that from other artists for sure. But then you have to put your own unique spin on everything that you're doing. Take original songs, record them, get on YouTube, make them your own, just like all the judges always said on American Idol, and just put yourself out there. Put content out there. Start a YouTube page if you don't have one, and take the advice of people who have been doing it longer than you. And also, collaborate with other people, get their opinions. Don't be so self-absorbed and self-indulgent that you forget to get other people's opinions, because that's really important. And, it does take a village to write a great song.
Right. Right. Well, that's all very good advice.
Yeah. So that's what I would say. And also, yes, be yourself, be genuine and authentic.
I did want to mention also on your personal website, RaquelRenner.com, you also list links to all the locations where you can find your songs right there on your website.
That's right. They're all on my website at RaquelRenner.com. And, you can find music, really, my music anywhere music is sold. And I will tell you something exciting. I had my song Be the Party, when I first released it in October, was number 66 on TuneCore's Best New Artist list this year. So that was a very good accolade for me to be able to brag about, to make a chart, 9 years,
right.
I'm sorry, not 9 years. It's 6 years after having made the original, the charts originally. To be able to make another chart this many years later is pretty cool. So I'm very proud of that.
Well, I just know that you're going to be making those charts more and more and more. So, because you're very talented,
well,
you're a wonderful person.
I really hope so.
Well, I just wanted to thank
you.
Oh, go ahead, please.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. My newest song that I just released is called "Don't Tell Me You Miss Me." And I'd love for you guys to go and download it. It's everywhere music is sold. You can find it on Spotify and SoundCloud and iTunes and everywhere. And what I love about this song is that it's the anthem for anybody who's ever been dumped, and then you're heartbroken and you go through that, and then a few months later, that person wants you back. And at that point, you're like, you've already moved on. So that's what that's like. It's kind of like in your face. It's an in your face, but I've moved on. Too little, too late kind of song. So it's really fun.
I love that. I need to have that played for a friend of mine. He just recently got dumped, and I'm just, but he's doing well. He's doing well.
Well, tell him to listen. Tell him to listen to "Don't Tell Me You Miss Me," because that is what that song is about. It's like you had your chance. And I've always been this awesome, and now you're seeing it after you've dumped me. So, and now you want me back, but too bad.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I just want to thank you so much for your time tonight. I know you're a very busy lady, but I really appreciate you calling in and being a part of the show. And I hope that you can come back and be part of the show again in the future, to catch up on your career and play more of your great songs.
Yes. Don, I would absolutely love to. It's been such an honor, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for thinking of me, for inviting me on the show. I just love you so much. Guys and girls, John is the man. I just love John McCormick. You are a wonderful person, John.
Thank you. Thank you very much for saying that. And I'm very honored to be friends with you, very honored. So we'll have a wonderful evening. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play another one of your songs as we head out, and then after the song, then I'm going to introduce another guest. So thanks again, and have a wonderful. Stick around if you want to listen to the show if you're not busy, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay, I will.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Good luck to you, John. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And we are back. If you are listening and haven't called in yet, please do so now. The listener call-in number is 323-642-1125. That's 323-642-1125. So please call in now to be connected.
And we are back. Looks like the technical difficulties have been resolved. Is Mike Kearney on the line?
Yeah, I am.
Thank you for holding for so long until I could get that
fixed. Oh, that's
fixed.
cool.
Yeah. Hey, I'm glad you called in because it looks like my guest that was going to come on next, he just notified me that he wasn't able to get to the phone. So I'm glad you called in because last week you shared some of your poetry with us. And if you have, would you be able to share a couple more of your poems tonight?
Yeah, sure. They're right here. Just a minute.
Okay.
Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I called in at 9:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Great.
so I don't have a lot of minutes here. Well, let me call in at 9:30, and I should be okay.
Well, maybe if you could just read one poem. Why don't you read Janice again? Because we didn't
Janice?
have. Yeah, read that one again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for our
That's my
callers,
baby.
our listeners that weren't here last week, because I just love that poem.
Okay, here we go. Here is Janice. From a mindless oil refinery town in the Golden Triangle, a force of energy arrived in the city by the bay. Raw and plain, in jeans and work shirt, the pre-psychedelic garb of the apolitical disaffiliate. No one laughed or disapproved, just kindred souls transcending drab existence. The new bohemians could change the world. Through 66, a band of five just playing for the tribes, screaming guitars, drums, and the hippie pinup girl. Sound and color unite, and the queen of the hate explodes, coitus interruptus, redefining beauty with her raw sexual energy. The Matrix, the Avalon, Mother Blues, an obscure record label, tightening with every gig, Winterland, the Fillmore, and then came Monterey. Now in the national spotlight in the summer of love, peace, flower power, the mainstream album released, gigs increased in quality and quantity, swiveling hips bumping and grinding between swigs of Southern comfort, that magical elixir. The touring treadmill continues. The Anderson Theater, a tour of the East, Janis Joplin with Big Brother and the Holding Company, cheap thrills, still more gigs, and the Queen of Rock is on her own. Count your fingers, 2 to go, 2 bands of her own. The first experimental with the strident blast of horns, a dazzling tour of Europe, but bad reviews at home. How could such energy arise from the deadening juice of smack? All the while still dazzling all who came to dance in that year of the blues gone cosmic. The final cast assembled that final 5-month tour, all feathered, rouged, and radiant, Janice or Pearl. Gone full tilt to boogie across the Great Divide, a festival train through Canada, a juicing all the way. 40 grand at Harvard, a weekend to reune. Let's put it all on vinyl, and then it's done too soon. You gave your all and then went home alone, still high, adrenaline pumping, back to the world of hotels and airports, fleeting, careless love and one-night stands. You gave so much and only asked of us to dance and scream. You touched our hands by instinct with both eyes closed. Thank you, Janice, for taking us away, somewhere else into your world, for thrilling us in your sweet celebration of sorrow.
Oh, that's awesome, Mike. It's one of my best poems that I just enjoy so much. Well, thank you for reading that. I did want to introduce my next guest, so if you do have any minutes and you can hang around to listen to the end of the show, please do so. But call us back next week because I want to hear more of your poems, and we'll play those.
All right.
Okay? All right. Well,
okay.
Hang on, and we'll talk to you next week then. Okay. Thank you so
Alrighty.
much, Mike. All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, and our next guest, it looks like, is here on the line, and that is Dorothy Robey. Hi, Dorothy.
Hi.
Am I saying your last name right? Is it Robey?
Yes, you are.
Okay, I just wanted to make
a lot of people don't get it.
Well, I'm so glad you called in, and you and I, we've known each other, I think now about 12 years. I met you in a different social media site other than Facebook, and then we all moved to Facebook, so I'm just so honored to be your friend. and I'm just amazed by your talent. Yeah. Well, I understand that you wrote your first short story at the age of 12 on your father's electric typewriter. And what inspired you to do that? Tell us about that.
I had a big imagination, and I just liked to write stories, which was kind of ironic because I didn't like to read.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't make too much sense, but for some reason I did like to, and I think probably I got it from watching TV.
Well, now, is this when you knew that you wanted to be a writer?
I think I've always had that dream and that passion to do that. It's just when you graduate from high school, reality kind of comes into play, and so you have to look for something at that point in time as something that could support you. So at that time, you couldn't really. It was a different time in the early 90s than it is now on how to get anything published, you know. I mean, I know you know this. So it was much more difficult then, and so I went with my parents' advice, of course, saying, oh, you're not going to be able to do that. You can't live on that. So I went to business college, and but I still wrote in my early 20s to my mid-20s. So it wasn't like I totally gave it up, but it was more like a side hobby.
Well, I understand in your teenage years, too, that you wrote several stories, including a trilogy of a family set in the Civil War era.
Yes.
How did that come about?
That was sparked by, I don't know if you know the author John Jakes, but he did several books on kind of historical novels about North and South, which was his big one, and then that was a trilogy. And so I saw the miniseries on TV, and then I decided I wanted to read the book after that. So that's finally I went backwards on that, but that worked. And so I got inspired by his writing and because he has another set called Kent Family Chronicles, which is an 8-book set of a family saga that goes through pretty much pre-Revolutionary War all the way to the turn of the century in the 1900s. So it's full. And I actually got most of my history through him at that time because I was not really into school in high school. Did not care for it too much then.
Yeah. Well, I understand that when you got married to your husband, Troy, and then you had your 2 sons, that you did finally pick up the writing again. It wasn't until September of 2014. Is that correct? Right.
Yes. It was a long, dry spell, I guess you could call it. I don't know if I would call that, I learned that writer's block is basically just distractions, and my family wasn't a distraction because obviously it was what I wanted, and when I had children, I had no plans to work, so which worked out well considering my second son needed me around with his special needs. So I think it came about when they were in the teens, and so I think it was the right time to pick it back up and kind of pick up where I left off with this always with me, but not, kind of in the back of my mind. But I thought, well, I should just go back to school, which was really well worth it. I mean, that whole 4 years was a total learning experience, and it just helped me grow as a writer, but also as a person. And so I really appreciated Southern New Hampshire University's courses, and it really helped me. And I also am part of a writing critique group, and that's really made a difference too, and how to hone your skills in writing.
Right, right. And you graduated in 2019 with a degree in English and creative writing. I mean, that's amazing. That's great. Now, I understand that your genre of writing is varied. You have written 2 children's short stories, an inspirational novel, a humorous nature environmental short story, a mainstream short story, and 2 lighthearted plays. Now, I know one of the plays you wrote is titled Falling Upstairs, and that was filmed on video and is available on YouTube. At your YouTube channel. Is that correct? Yeah. I really enjoyed it. It's really funny and fun to watch, and I did want to let everyone know that your YouTube channel is .r, D-O-T, and then the letter R. And that way they can have the pleasure of watching it because it is funny and it is great. What are you currently working on now?
So I just finished up a blurb for my novel Passage of Promise. That's the one that I've worked on since 2015. I'm putting this novel through to my editor for a second full run through. August 26th, I send it over to her. And so I'm getting really close to finishing that and starting to set up my query letter and go from there on that one. And then I have a novella that I had revised several months back, and I'm waiting to go through the critique process with that again, so it's going to be a little bit for that. And right now I have a work in progress. So my novella is called Morning Dove, and then I have a work in progress called What She Didn't Know. All of my stories have a tinge of my faith in it, so there's always going to be a piece of that in everything I write. The only time I've had an exception in that is on some short stories. So, it was just kind of a quick writing without that. But if it's a novel or the novella, I always have something of my faith in there for inspiration. And I like to write about hope and redemption, so redeemable people and characters. And so most of my stuff is kind of Christian women's fiction, mainstream, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, so your novella, that's what that's about, basically. Is there any certain story that you might want to share with us about what it's going to be about?
About the novella or the...
Oh, the novella. Yeah. Oh, the novel. That's what I meant to say, yeah, the novel.
Yeah, well, the novel Passage of Promise, that's... I've worked on that, like I said, since 2015. So at the beginning of 2015, I pretty much almost finished, but I don't think I finished till 2016. The first draft. It took a long time.
Right.
But I basically have a little blurb on it I can read you because I just updated it.
Sure, that'd be great.
Yeah, and blurbs are very hard to, as you know, are hard to write because you have to say your whole story in a few paragraphs and not give too much away. So this is what I have for my novel Passage of Promise. Marina loves babysitting her 4-year-old nephew, Christopher, but when her family gets the shattering news of her nephew's life-threatening illness, their lives are forever changed. Marina's family sends her to the Greek island of Santorini to retrieve her great-grandmother's wonder-working icon of Saints Anna and Mary for healing Christopher. But Marina discovers the icon has been stolen. She recruits a high school English teacher vacationing on the island to help her search for her great-grandmother's precious heirloom. During the search, she finds something more than the icon. Returning home, Marina must face her fears of Christopher's serious health condition and her family's fractured bonds. Will she gain the courage and faith through St. Anna's guidance to bring about healing within her family and a true love that lasts?
Oh, wow. That sounds really interesting. I can't wait to get a copy. Yeah. Thank you for reading that. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, what really interests you the most about writing? Do you have?
Oh my! I like when ideas come to my head and bother me so much that I have to write them down. The characters become so real that their dialogue is in your head, and you feel like, okay, I have to write this down. And also when you're in the writing process, in the middle of a scene, and I mean, I've been told, sometimes you write scenes that are almost like a play or a movie, because I'm a visual person. So, you know, I'm always done like that. But I like being in the scene with my characters. I like to see how people react to different characters in my story. If I'm able to portray them the way I want them to be, and the readers actually see that, that's always important.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let me ask you, do you have any advice for an aspiring writer?
I actually would say a few things. I would say it's worth, if you don't go to college, it is worth taking writing workshop classes to help you understand the structure, what plot is, what character arc is, how to go about actually putting together a story, and it would be helpful to have those classes. But I don't think that you have to be perfect when you start out. You know, it's always a learning process, and even the top writers are constantly, you know, getting better. So it's always something you progress at. So I would say don't give up on it, and keep at it and learn from it, and especially join a critique group where you can find people that you can connect with that understand what you're looking for, and you understand what they're looking for, and then when they read, they really help you to see any plot holes, any character flaws that you didn't fix when you're going through it, because the way you look at it is going to be different with one set of eyes. You need more than that, and most of all, if you're going to put out any if you are going to self-publish in any way, always get a professional editor, because you need somebody to look over that professionally, so that when you put it out, people will notice that it's a stellar, you know, it's professional, it's clean, and people don't want to read something obviously that's cluttered with kind of typos and all that problem in there, and
yeah, it takes away from the story when you see something like that. You know, you have to pause and say,
right, it takes you out of the story. Yes, exactly.
Right. Well, now, where can someone find your work? You know, I know that you have a blog. Do you publish some of your stuff on your blog, or do you have another? I know you have your Facebook author page too on Facebook. So where can someone find your work?
Okay, well, right now, the only thing I have published out is the short story I did in a contest back in 2017. And so my short story, along with 11 other people, is in an anthology from Scribes Valley Publishing. And that was an early on piece I did in 2015. But it's it's on Amazon. I think it's called Take a Road Trip. It's been a while since I looked at it.
Oh, okay. So
and I know anthologies are not great. You know, not everybody wants to read anthologies because it's a mixture of others, and so, you know. But what I'm planning is when I get out my first novel, then of course, you know, I'll make an announcement in my blog and on my Facebook page and my Twitter page and all of the social media I'm linked to, and then at that point, people will know exactly when it's released.
Right. Okay.
And hopefully I'll get some interested readers.
Oh, you will. I'm definitely sure you will, because it sounds like it's a great novel. Hey, I just wanted to give everyone the link to your blog, and that is .lovestowrite.com. I just want to spell that out. That's DOTLUVS, the number 2, WRITE.com. So that way they can follow you and know about, like you said, when your novel's coming out. And so it's just, I just wanted to say thank you so much, for being part of the show and for calling in. I know that, you are busy, and so I appreciate your time. And I hope that you can call back and be a part of the show in the future, to catch up on your career and your writing, if that would be something you'd be able to do.
Well, I really appreciate you asking me to be on your show, John. It was very kind of you and allowing me to go on about my writing and, inviting me. Yeah, inviting me and also for future shows. I really appreciate that. It's a real joy for me. So
thank you. It's been a joy for me too. So have a wonderful evening, and it looks like we're out of time, friends. So I did want to mention. Well, first I want to thank everyone for listening, and also to my guests, Kelly, Raquel, and my friend Mike, who shared a poem with us tonight. He'll be back next week, the next time we have our show, to read some more poetry. And also I want to thank Dot. I called you Dot. That's what we call you sometimes. It's Dorothy. So thank you. And I did want to mention that I'm on vacation for the next 2 weeks. I'll be out of town, so the show will be on hiatus until August the 10th. So please join us that Saturday at 6 p.m. West Coast time and 9 p.m. East Coast time for our next episode. For now, I wish all of you a great night, and this is John signing off. Goodbye for now, friends.
Bye.